Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be talking to you about self-care. First of all, what is self-care? Let's look it up. Let's look it up and see what we have. Okay, so, wow, I didn't realize there was such a thing as the Self-Care Federation. Let's look and see what the Self-Care Federation says. Global Self-Care Federation.org says self-care involves making healthy lifestyle choices, avoiding unhealthy lifestyle habits, making responsible use of prescription and non-prescription medicine. Okay, so, and then going into just a generic definition of self-care from the Oxford Dictionary: the practice of taking action to preserve or improve one's own health. And then it says the practice of taking an active role in protecting one's own well-being and happiness, in particular during stress periods. Since I've been on my quest for self-improvement and self-care, personally, I've been wanting to bring that forth to help other people improve their self-care. And so self-care can involve eating a proper diet that's good for you, whatever you and your healthcare provider deem to be appropriate. And then as far as exercise, that's another thing that is really personal. It depends on a person's level of fitness and what their limitations are physically and also medically, of course. And so that's another part of self-care. Then, of course, there is proper sleep, right? So you have to get proper rest. And then particularly, I'm into fitness in terms of lifting weights, and if you lift weights, you have to be able to have the adequate rest, even more than you would ordinarily, because when you lift weights, you're breaking down muscle tissue, and how you actually get stronger is during the rest period. But it all ties together. And then we have, of course, the medical self-care, which of course involves going to the doctor, making regular appointments to do your regular annual physical, and then any specific medical concerns that you have personally based on your medical needs and what your healthcare needs would be. So that's all ties into what self-care is. And then I added on recreation. I've learned over time that recreation, for example, which could include spending time with loved ones and doing fun things like, hobbies and going to the movies and going out for dinner and things like that. That's just as important as nutrition, exercise, sleep, and taking care of your medical needs. I mean, health-wise, that all of those things play into good, proper self-care, at least for me. When I speak up here and do videos, I'm speaking from my own experience and hoping that what I share with you all can benefit someone out there. So, the recreation piece is quite interesting. In the last 10 years, have realized more than ever the importance of recreation and having fun. In my full-time position, part of that role that I have is involving recreation. And I really have a really awesome time doing that, because I do things with the older people like bingo night and happy hour and pizza night and movie night. And I find that doing that, I think that's where I learned the importance of recreation. That's where it really hit me between the eyes, is that it brings people together. People have fun with each other, and of course you're always going to have situations where people get into heated discussions and things like that, and that's really unavoidable. When people get together, people sometimes can get into heated discussions irrespective of the age, right? So But it's important too to let people iron out their differences amongst themselves too, and not get in the middle of that. I mean, unless of course it's causing a big ruckus in the whole situation and interrupting other people's enjoyment, then in that case you have to have some sort of an intervention. But at the same time, all of these things tie into a really good self-care practice. So the other thing too is I've learned, particularly over the past, let's say 6 months time, now this is January 21, 2023, and I have always been an avid...
I didn't get that. Could you try again?
I've always been an avid gym person, an exerciser, since I was 18 or 17. Going to the gym for me has been such a good component of socialization, even if it's just saying hello to people that I see regularly every day. And, I'm starting to introduce myself to people and kind of get friendlier with people because I see these people every day. It's kind of like, they're kind of family-like almost, and it's almost as if I've been reborn with that, especially because we were out of exercising in a gym for a couple of years because of COVID. Now getting back into it, I really enjoy it a lot, and so seeing people every day at the gym has really attributed to my enjoyment of exercising with other people. Maybe not necessarily working out together, but being in the same place at the same time daily is pretty cool in terms of self-care. It makes me feel connected to people, and it's important to be with other people. I mean, I do work and I'm with people all the time, but that's just another part of what my self-care looks like. And then of course, there's hobbies as another component of good self-care. And what could that be? It depends upon each individual person, of course. And I'm just reminding you of certain things that you might not have been doing for a while, whether it's reading books, whether it's meditating, whether it's going to get your nails done. Those are all things that can be considered a good practice of self-care. And for me, I have always played musical instruments. Growing up as a kid, I played the clarinet in like first grade. And then after that, I played the guitar as a teenager. And then in my later years, in my 30s, I picked up drumming. And drumming has always been really an interesting hobby of mine that I really enjoy. And it's something about the beat, and I've always had an internal mechanism that picks up the beat of music, and I can instantly, actually, I took lessons in my 30s for drumming. For me, I'm more or less, I have read music, but I'm more of an ear drummer. Like I can hear the music and then I can play it. And it's a little different than a drummer that has been trained that can read music. It's a little different than that. But nevertheless, it's still an enjoyable hobby of mine that I really enjoy. And I got away from it. And here's the thing with playing a musical instrument. I got so nervous at different points in my life when it came to playing in front of people that I actually stifled myself and wasn't able to play in front of people for fear of making a mistake. For fear is an ugly word. It paralyzed me and crippled me with that. But then as an adult, I thought recently during COVID, I started to practice drumming every day on my own without an instructor. I've been really enjoying myself actually. And so what I thought I would do as part of this video, because for me, drumming has been very therapeutic and it's a part of my self-care. It allows me an outlet and it allows me to be meditative in a sense, because drumming is therapeutic in the sense that, well, any instrument could be. It's because you're doing that, playing that instrument, and you're not thinking about anything else. That, at least that's what it means for me when I play. It's a meditative component that has me focused on right on that at that moment. And that's what it means for me. It's a meditative practice. And also there's a lot of, you get your energy and frustrations out because you're physically moving around the set, and it's pretty cool. And so what I wanted to do for this video is to play a song for you. This is a part of my self-care, and hopefully you'll enjoy it. So watch this.
Watch out, I'm coming for you, and it won't feel like it's a dream coming true. You're mine, I already knew. You got that gorgeous, but you don't have a clue. You tell me about, I deal with this thing they making hard. Hold on, so soon, be mine.
Of what self-care is now, aren't you? It's a lot more than I thought it was once I started doing some research into it. And of course, as we mentioned before, spending time with loved ones is a good portion of self-care. That's enriching your emotional life. And also spiritual self-care is something that is really one of the most important of all. Well, one of my most favorite things to do in the summertime, at least here in the Northeast, is to go to the beach. And I like to go up to Rhode Island, plant myself on the beach and go swimming and bodyboarding and all of that. And that for me is really important to my recreational self-care. And I don't want to neglect to mention pampering oneself. For example, manicures, pedicures, foot massages, And even I've learned over time, I've had like some revelations the past 10 years or so, but getting new clothes is really more than just being fancy. It's making yourself feel, it makes you feel better. At least for me it does. And also, of course, vacations, that's important. But since COVID struck, I haven't been on a lot of vacations, actually. Just before COVID hit, I was coming back from a trip. And then I recently, in this past 2022, in May of last year, went to Texas for a week. And most of my vacation time really is spent on the beach. That's my biggest self-care reward that I can give myself in the summertime. I just get myself together, go up to Rhode Island and on the weekends, and that's what I love to do in the summertime. But yeah, I feel like this was really productive for me to share these ideas and to share some of what I've found over the years has helped me improve my self-care. You know, speaking about the nutrition piece, I've changed my nutrition over the years, and I feel very comfortable with where I am in terms of the type of nutrition that I have, which is low carb, keto low carb. And I changed up my exercise plan recently because I had a reconstructive foot surgery last September. So now I'm able to increase my exercise routine to make it a little bit more fitted to where I'm at in terms of my physical capability. But I'm not like Supergirl or even Wonder Woman, but working on my sleep routine, that's important. But also taking good care of oneself, it's really important. I'm looking to make future videos after this one that specifically deal with each individual self-care idea, like nutrition, exercise, sleep, spiritual self-care, emotional self-care, recreational self-care. That's what I'm going to be looking to do in the near future. I hope that you have gotten something out of this video. I appreciate you stopping by. It's always a pleasure to see you again. Please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, so that you'll get notification of future videos. Thanks for stopping by again. Over and out. By the way, listening to your favorite music is a part of self-care. Elton John rocks my world every single time. Over and out, ciao for now, and I'll see you in the next one.